Hey, my beautiful people. How are you guys doing? This is Life Coach for Parents, Linette here. This is the CEO of hashtag Parenting and Mental Illness. Thank you, bye-bye. I haven't been doing any vlogs like I'm supposed to. Miracle, please stop. I haven't been doing any vlogs like I'm supposed to. I gotta find a better way to record because my USB port is kind of messed up, and if you move the mic and the wire moves, it cuts the video off, and I am not an editing person. I don't have the patience for it. How can I get you guys to not be so... I don't have the patience to edit. I really don't. So I try to make sure that when I'm doing this, I am doing this one shot so then I can take that video and post it. Oh, I forgot to post a podcast. I gotta post a podcast. It's already past the time. Yeah. But how are you guys doing? It's been a minute since I've done a vlog. How's it going? What are y'all up to? Why don't y'all ever talk to me? Like, this is so annoying. I think that's another reason why I don't do so many vlogs, because it's like, y'all don't talk to me. I can ask what's up with y'all, how's life going, and it's like crickets and crickets. Like, I'm not here just for me. It's not all just about me, you know what I'm saying, or my family. This may be our channel, but we do want to get to know our subscribers and build a community and a support system and a family, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we don't do none of those trending videos. We don't do none of these pranks like other people, and I think that's why our channel doesn't get any love. Plus, the name just doesn't make it any better either. It really doesn't. Like, people just are with the stigma of mental illness. It doesn't get the love it should. I don't get the traction I should. I believe my content, when I'm on it, be good when I'm on it. Now, notice when I say when I'm on it. Because I will go through my depression stages. I will go through my anxiety stages. I will go through my PTSD stages. And then life just happens, or my kids will have their own problems. And I got to be present for that.
Mama, why do you have to be in prison for that?
Because if you guys have a hard time or something happens with you guys, it's my job as your mom to make sure everything's okay.
Oh, you need this to be over it too?
It's my job as your mom to make sure that you guys have all your needs met.
Yeah. Let me get more hider.
And
is that better?
Yeah, that's better. So there aren't really much updates. We're doing, like, our mentals are a lot better than what they were in our past videos when we were in our past location. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. Like, I have a migraine right now. That's the only downside. Like, my migraines seem to have come back full force. And it's annoying. Can I get some more coffee?
Hey, this is sweet.
I know. But I'm working hard, me myself. I'm working hard on trying to build my coaching business. I'm working hard on finding more clients. I need the financial piece so that we can get on our feet all the way. That's one. Two, I love helping other people. Like, I genuinely love being support for other people and helping other people, because we don't have support. We don't have help. And we're dealing with our situation and just struggling like crazy. And in case you are new to the channel, and welcome to all the new subscribers. It'd be great if y'all are watching the content and not just subscribing. That'd be awesome. But welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing. I definitely appreciate that. I don't want y'all to think that I take that lightly or for granted, because I don't. I know y'all could have decided not to subscribe, but y'all did. And that is an amazing feeling, and we really appreciate it. But for the new people who don't know much about my family and I, we live in an extended stay. So we originally are from Connecticut. And during my last pregnancy, things got really bad for us. And then my health just started declining. And I just started having more difficulties. And at that time, we were living with my mother. Which is a long story within itself, because I had my own apartment. I ended up having, the person I was with ended up having an accident. I ended up thinking I had my backup emergency money that I usually keep in my backup account. And I didn't, and then I had to try to replace the car because I couldn't get to both jobs without a vehicle. So, long story short, we ended up moving out of the apartment because we couldn't cover the rent and cover replacement of the vehicle and things like that. So, I ended up making an agreement with my mother. She was going to travel because she receives disability and she's been on disability for years. So she was going to travel, and we would stay at her house, fix it up, because the interior of her house needs to be updated and work needs to be done. She has a co-op. And I was going to have my uncle do it for her while we were there, since she was always having a hard time getting him, to show up and get things done. But I know for me, he would have done it. For the kids especially. And, she was supposed to stay in Puerto Rico and in Florida, visiting family, enjoying the warm weather, not having to deal with the cold from Connecticut. But when she came back in July for my daughter's C-15 so we can take her on the cruise, she decided not to return. So she broke the agreement that we had. We had an agreement where I would stay there for a year, and because she only has a 2-bedroom co-op and it's 2 kids at the time, she decided not to leave. So now it was my boyfriend at the time, the 2 kids, and her, and then the 2 dogs that we had. And she didn't like my child's father. She couldn't stand him for some reason. I don't know why. My mom prejudges people sometimes, or if you don't bend over backwards for her, she just doesn't like you. That's just the way she is. And she decided not to leave. So now I was stuck in a place that I didn't want to be, because I didn't want to be in her house to begin with. And I didn't want to move my kids to a bad city because that was the only rent that I can afford, and have to switch schools. And I didn't want to take my son out of his school because he was thriving and doing so amazing. He was in a charter school, and he was doing so amazing and thriving so much. Like, I just didn't want to interrupt his routine. But I ended up getting pregnant after like 5 years and no pregnancy, but whatever. Well, 3 years, 2 years, I think it was 2 years and no pregnancy, or 2.5 years, somewhere around there. I made a mistake, miscalculated, because I was always on top of my cycle and keeping track to make sure there was no oops. But one day I didn't check, and yep, there was an oops. And she had already told my daughter and my son that if I ever had a baby with this man, she was going to kick all of us out and wanted nothing to do with us. That's how much she didn't like him. But I think it was more because I don't do what you tell me to do. I'm an adult. I have to make my own trial and errors, my own mistakes. She couldn't dictate my life because I didn't let her dictate my life. And that was another thing she didn't like, because she always wanted to dictate my life. I've always been very independent. She never liked that about me. The crazy part is I had to be independent because of how she raised me. But anyways, after I had my child, right, because we never told her I was pregnant, she tried keeping my son hostage in her room one day, and my son was crying, and he wanted to come out the room, so I go upstairs and I'm like, Delano, come here. And then she starts yelling at him and starts yelling at me, because she was always telling them lies and just putting me down to them, like just trashing me as a person, as a mother, as a daughter. And I was, not right now, and I was calling Delano to come, out of the room, but she wouldn't like move out of the way from the door, and he was just like, he was so lost and confused with what was going on. And I remember I was in the front of her door frame. I was not stepping foot on her door frame. I did not step foot in her room. I was still on the carpet because her room didn't have no carpet and the hallway had carpet. I was still on the carpet and I'm asking for my son. And she wants to yell, scream, and argue, call me all types of names, say all these things. So when she lunged at me like she was going to hit me, that's when I had enough. I was like, yo, I'm tired of this woman thinking that it is okay to always threaten to put her hands on me whenever she wants to. And I'm not a child no more. Like, I may be your child, but I am not a child anymore. So stop thinking that you can threaten me or whatever. Like, I'm a grown ass woman with her own children. Like, what are you doing? So I was fed up. And at this time, I think I was 7 months pregnant. So I knew, or I was 8 months pregnant. I knew my due date was around the corner. So I was okay with her knowing that I was pregnant. So when she went to go try to lunge at me, I remember yelling, go ahead, hit me. Go ahead, hit me. So then I can call the police, tell the police that you beat a pregnant woman. I saw murder in her eyes. I was like, go ahead. Now, can you please move so my son can come out? I was like, please move so my son can come out. Because, see, this is the thing that we're not going to do. You physically and verbally have abused me my whole entire life. And I'm not going to keep standing here and letting you think that it's cool to do whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that my mom did that I didn't even know she did. But the stuff that I saw that she did, I would call her out on it. Because that was not cool for me. Like, my mother knew, don't you ever put your hands on my kids. Ever put your hands on my kids. That's one thing I was not going to play with her about. Don't you ever put your hands on my kids. That is my job, my responsibility. My grandparents used to beat me when I was bad. Don't get me wrong. But my grandparents weren't abusive. Okay? My grandparents were not abusive. Mentally or physically. Neither from my understanding to my uncles or to my mother. My mother was abusive physically and mentally and emotionally to me growing up. So I was not going to let her do to me what she had done. I mean, not let her do to my kids what she had done to me. So when I said that to her, I went and I gave birth. Now, I don't know if you guys believe in this or not, but this is on you guys. So we are a very spiritual family. We do be having sometimes, extracurricular activities, I guess you can call it. So one day my daughter came running downstairs, mommy, 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 or I think it was my son. Mommy, 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 grandma's burning a candle in the paper. I was like, oh Lord. And mind you, we had just found out that she was questioning my son about the baby's name, when the baby was due, and all these things. Like, this is how sneaky she was. She would try to question my kids for information about me, because I'm not telling you nothing about me, because realistically speaking, it's none of your business. And if I wanted you to know, I would have told you myself, don't you think? Like, I'm just saying, it's my business. You're so busy always giving my business to other people. But anyways, That's one of the reasons why I never really talked to her, told her what was going on, because she loved to gossip. She loved to gossip. She would call anybody up in a family in Puerto Rico, or call my uncle up in Georgia, or call her best friend up in Florida, and just gossip. Gossip about my business, my kids' business, anybody's business that she knew. That's just the way she was, and I never liked that about her. I never understood why she was that way, and I never liked it. You know what I'm saying? I never accepted it because I never liked it. I never agreed with it. So that's why when I got older, I was very private with my life and very private with the things that I was going through and the things that I dealt with. You know what I'm saying? Because I just didn't want her to be giving my business. Like, look how crazy this is. And I know I'm jumping with the stories, and I'm sorry. I guess this is a PTSD day. I don't know. But look at this craziness. My daughter was 6 when I left her father. I kicked him out, and I told him I was done. This was because he hit me. Now, mind you, we have been through fights before. Honestly, through the whole relationship, I want to say like 3 or 4 times he tried to put his hands on me. But this one time, this dude actually punched me in my face and made my nose bleed. And I had told him the day that our daughter no longer cares about you being around, or if you're there or not, because I was letting him destroy his own relationship with his daughter. I was not fixing that. Then I'm out the door, because I'm only here for her happiness. I didn't have a father growing up, so I'm trying to make sure my child had a father growing up. It turns out he kept doing just some crazy and messed up stuff, and my daughter really got to the point where she just didn't care if he was around or not. It didn't matter. She had caught pneumonia, and this dude disappeared on us for 2 days straight. He was laying up with his mistress, who was supposed to be my friend. He couldn't even show up at the hospital. He could, like... Alright. Anyways. That's another story. I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to stay on topic. So, when I ended the relationship, I had to call the cops and have him removed because of him hitting me. Now, about 2 to 3 weeks later, he breaks into the home through the basement. I wake up in the middle of the night to find the lights in my room on, which were not on, and to see him sitting at the bed with a big knife. Now, mind you, that whole day, you guys, I had an ill feeling. This is why I say we're spiritual and we have connections. But I had the illest feeling, like something's going wrong, something's happening, somebody's not good, or something's just not right. I remember calling a few people. Ayo, you good? Ayo, you good? Ayo, you good? Everybody's like, why are you asking us this? I just got this very ill feeling, like something's just not right. Something's not okay, or somebody's in danger, and I can't pinpoint where it's coming from or what it's about or why. But anyways, I woke up that night, that same day that I had that feeling. That night I woke up to him sitting there. Boom. I was laying literally this same way that I am now, asleep. And I wake up, I look, I was like, wait, what? He's sitting there with that knife. Wanna know what the first thing that man said to me? I came here to kill you. Because if I can't have you, can't nobody else have you. That is exactly what I woke up to. Mind you, my daughter's room is right next door to mine. She went to go do the laundry, I think. I don't know. Door to door. Like door to door. That's how close it is. You walk out her room, walks, through the little hallway. Like just walk from one door, across the hallway. I don't know why I couldn't figure out those words. But across the hallway. So all I'm thinking is, my baby's going to find her mama. I can't let that happen. I got to do whatever I got to do to survive this situation here. Mind you, I ain't never been put in no situation like that before. I was only 26, I think, or 25. He was my first adult relationship. Okay, I'm not going to say anything under 18. He was my first adult relationship. And he was older than me too, so I didn't expect none of this BS that I was dealing with. But anyway, so long story short, I somehow managed to get out of the situation, I ended up going to the living room, woke up the boys that were sleeping there, which was his mistress's friends that had stayed the summer. They were staying the summer with us. To wake them up to be like, I need your fucking help or I'm about to lose my damn life here. And we ended up, getting him out of the house. I ended up having to call the police. He had sliced off 4 of my tires. He had walked with that knife because it wasn't even my knife. It was his mistress's knife. So he had walked with his mistress's knife all the way across town to come get me. Like, this man must have been on something. And I kept saying that while you're dealing with somebody, you're doing something extra besides just drinking. Like, the shit that you're doing, that's why I can't do this no more. Like, you're on one and I cannot. Like, you're self-medicating with street drugs. And I can't. It's not weed. It was not motherfucking weed, okay? I'm sorry. It was not. That man done walk with that knife all the way across town to come take my life. Not thinking about his child, not thinking about his 2 boys that were sleeping in the other room, nothing. Not thinking that these 3 kids are going to wake up and find me dead. Like, he wasn't thinking about none of that. So when all of that happened, my uncle was visiting from Georgia, my mom's, to at her house. And he helped me go get 4 tires. My mom, I think we had put it on her Sears card, if I'm not mistaken. But he had helped me through the whole process. Now, mind you, my mother was like, you can't tell your grandma about this. You can't tell anybody about this. It'll kill them, whatever. My dumb ass listened. My dumb ass listened to her words and didn't say anything. Then she turned around and told everybody that I was partying my ass off. I was leaving my daughter with whoever, whenever, wherever. Mind you, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a shelter and I was working at Toys R Us as a cashier. So if I wasn't with my child, I was at work. I was at work if I wasn't with my child. She was just mad because, can you stop? That sounds loud downstairs. She was just mad because I wasn't letting her in none of my business. And I wasn't telling her any of my business. She went and told my whole family in Puerto Rico all of that mess and all of that BS. And I was like, what? Like, they were out there thinking I'm this worst parent in the world. And everybody ran. And the sad part is everybody ran with what she said. You know why everybody ran with what she said? Because nobody called Linette and said, hey, Linette, what's going on? Nobody called Linette and said, hey, Linette, do you need help? Nobody called Linette and said, do you need support? Nobody called and said, Linette, what happened? What's going on? Like, are you good? Is your daughter good? Nothing. Everybody ran with her story and put me out to be this horrible person. And mind you, this is all my family in Puerto Rico who have nothing to do with me in Connecticut. Okay? And at that point, I was like, you know what? Why do I care what these people think? Why do I care what these people know or don't know? Because at the end of the day, if they really genuinely cared about me, they'd be reaching out to me and we'd be having contact. It wouldn't just be get all my information from my mother. But she went and did that BS, y'all. Like, my whole family just, man, listen. So anyways, we are down here in an extended stay. I said all of that to just tell you guys, we live in an extended stay. I'm in a wheelchair. That has been as a 1.5 years now. Don't know why I'm in a wheelchair. I can walk a little bit and I can stand up for short periods of time. I can't do no long distance walking. The bending down piece and all of that. My legs will shake and do all of this and just makes it a little bit harder. So we're trying to get back on our feet. And we're trying to make life work. But where we are now, like, they're not, well, at least they tell us there's no resources. Every time I'm trying to reach out for resources, I can't get it. I can't even get my DSS worker to call me back. I'm trying to get a home nurse aide to help my daughter maintain the house clean and not have all the house responsibilities all on her. I still can't get them to call me back. I put in this request like 3 months ago. 3 or 4 months ago. Still haven't gotten a call back. Called her supervisor Still didn't get a call back. Called the lady who's supposed to be in charge of that piece. Still didn't get a call back. Called her supervisor. Still didn't get a call back. I'm trying to find a place to live. It has been extremely hard. Extremely hard. And then because we have no renters history, we be getting denied because of that. They always want a co-signer. I don't have anybody that can co-sign. Then because of an apartment that we did have for a year and a half, I have a rent debt on my credit because I had to break the lease due to the amount of roaches. It was just I was infested with roaches in that apartment after the people next door moved and they treated the apartment. And they didn't treat my apartment when they treated that apartment, so they were coming in through the sockets. And I got the rent debt, and then I got my car that I let get repoed when I was back in Connecticut because I couldn't keep doing it. I was having a hard pregnancy. Couldn't work as many hours as I wanted to. So I couldn't keep doing the car payment. And provide food for my kids. So I had to choose. Either my kids eat or I have transportation. And mind you, if I was a selfish person, I would have picked transportation because walking in the snow while I was pregnant with knee-deep snow was not it. And walking blocks because I had to get to the bus stop to catch that bus and to get to the next bus stop. I would go through hell to get to work, like hell and back, to get to work just to be able to provide for my family. But I had to let go of the car because I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I couldn't financially pull it off anymore. And I relinquished the car. So I have that on my credit too. And because of those things, I keep getting denied without a cosigner. So I'm working on my credit. My credit score is 6. Where's my phone? Right here. I'll tell you right now. I'm about to tell you right now.
Mama, don't talk with food in your mouth.
My score is 618. And that's on Equifax, I think. Or Experian, one of the two. My score is 618. My score done went up. I was at 480. I think it was in one of them and like 5 in the other one. And I'm at 619 now. So I'm working on my credit. Even though my credit score is getting higher, I still can't get it. And then if I was able to get a van, this is how I look at it. I got a cash 22, y'all. But if I was able to get a van, I can DoorDash like I do when I rent. But I can't buy a van either because of the repo and not enough income. But if I was able to get a van, like I said, I can DoorDash. My daughter's the one that delivers the food and I do the driving. Everything I've tried to get us back on our feet and financially stable, I keep getting shut down. And it's like, I need a break, y'all, because this is just becoming too much. Now I don't let it stress me like it used to in the past. I mean, I just give thanks for the roof that we do have over our heads because it could be worse. We were in a shelter at one point for a month, and that was horrible. And this is before I had the wheelchair. But the shelter didn't even help. They didn't have no resources, no finances, no nothing. Like, I'm in a place that I know nothing about nothing. I'm asking for help. Guidance, direction, something. And nothing. I got nothing of nothing. No direction, no nothing. Nothing. So I'm happy that we do have a place to live. I be trying not to let it stress me out or overwhelm me. But it's a difficult road. And like I've said in the past before, but if you're a new subscriber, you're not going to know. I created this channel to stop myself from being suicidal, to keep myself accountable and hold myself into this earth, because I promised my daughter I would do the best that I can to not take myself out, because she's also suicidal, so she understands where I'm coming from. And even I've cried on here, like needing help, guidance, support, whatever, and I get crickets. That's how it's always been. I get crickets no matter where I go, and then all that does is co-sign my suicidal thoughts of, see, even the universe is telling me that you're not worth it. Even the universe is telling me that you're a waste of space, a waste of person. And that's not cool. That is so not cool. But yeah, I just wanted to sit here and just chit chat with y'all for a while, pretty much, because I don't get to come up here much, you know what I'm saying? And I still got a lot of my story I haven't been able to tell that I still need to tell too. So I'm not gonna hold y'all any longer, because I know y'all don't like my content like that. But if you can like, comment, and subscribe, I would definitely appreciate it. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, like for real. Make today count, for tomorrow ain't promised to nobody, so make yesterday jealous. Alright, y'all? See y'all.